Many women think that to be valued, they need to change their appearance, speak differently, or even play hard to get. But the reality is quite different. There's one attitude that, when you adopt it, makes men see you in a whole new light, with more respect, admiration, and even desire. The problem is that most women don't realize this in time and end up being treated the wrong way. So pay close attention, because today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. You know where? That moment when you walk into a room and feel like everyone notices you? That happens because first impressions are powerful. Within the first few seconds, men form an opinion about you, often without even realizing it. The way you walk, the look you give, and even how you hold your drink send messages. And the question is, what message are you sending without realizing it? Confidence, for example, isn't just in words, but in posture. A woman who walks with her head held high, maintains eye contact, and smiles exudes confidence. And you know what happens? Men pick up on that instantly and treat her with more respect and interest. Now, if you walk in hesitantly, looking down, or fidgeting with your phone to hide your shyness, they sense that insecurity. A classic example. Imagine two women walking into a cafe. One walks in slowly, looks around calmly, picks a seat, and sits with a poised posture. The other rushes in, shrinks into her chair, and immediately looks at her phone. Which one stands out more? It's not about beauty, it's about presence. Small details create a massive impact on how men perceive you. And what if I told you there's a simple way to attract even more interest without changing anything about your appearance? Something that makes men not only notice you, but feel a different kind of energy around you. This goes far beyond what can be seen. What's more attractive, beauty or energy? Have you ever noticed that some women aren't necessarily the most beautiful, yet they always have admirers? They walk into a room and effortlessly draw attention. That happens because true attraction isn't just about looks. It's about the energy they radiate. A woman who feels good about herself, who smiles naturally and moves with ease, has a magnetic presence that's impossible to ignore. Now, think about a woman who is always trying to look perfect, but has a tense expression, constantly checks herself in the mirror, and seems uncomfortable. No matter how beautiful she is, something about her pushes people away instead of drawing them in. That's because the energy we emit is perceived long before our appearance. Men aren't just attracted to what they see. They're drawn to what they feel when they're around you. And the big question is, how do people feel when they're near you? Does your presence give off something pleasant, fun, and engaging? Or is there a certain tension in the air? Too often, we focus so much on our external image that we forget about the impact our energy has. The key is to feel good first, because that naturally reflects in the way others perceive you. If you want men to notice you in a completely different way, you need to learn a simple trick that transforms any conversation. A small detail that changes how they listen to you and respond. Without you having to say a single word, the pause technique. Say less and see what happens. Not everything needs to be said right away. Sometimes, well-placed silence can have more impact than words spoken in a rush. When you slow down and allow small pauses in a conversation, you create a magnetic effect. Men start paying closer attention to every word you say because they realize you're not just talking for the sake of it. And the most interesting part? This makes your presence much more striking. Many women feel the need to fill every gap in a conversation, thinking silence might be awkward. But in reality, this strategic pause conveys confidence and mystery. It's like in a movie when the scene lingers for a few seconds before something important happens. The same goes for an engaging dialogue. A brief pause makes the other person eager to hear what's next. Imagine you're telling a story, and instead of rushing through it, you pause for a second, take a breath, and maintain eye contact. That small action keeps the person in front of you completely hooked on the moment. Men enjoy the challenge of deciphering signals, and when you use pauses intelligently, you create a subtle game that holds their attention effortlessly. But if you want them to not only pay attention but also respect and truly value your opinions in a whole new way, there's something even more powerful than just silence. How the way you say no changes everything. It's not always what you say, but how you say it. When a woman knows how to decline something firmly and calmly, without hesitation or unnecessary excuses, she instantly commands respect. Men notice this and adjust the way they treat her. A well-placed no doesn't have to be rude or harsh, just clear and confident. And that kind of certainty completely shifts the dynamic of any interaction. Many women are afraid to say no because they think they'll come across as difficult or unpleasant. But when you agree to everything just to avoid conflict, you end up being seen as someone without a strong opinion. And you know what happens? You lose value in his eyes. Men admire women who know how to stand their ground. The secret is to say no without over-explaining or feeling guilty. For example, if he asks you out at the last minute and you already have plans, instead of saying, "Oh, I wish I could, maybe next time," simply say, "I can't today, but maybe another time." You don't need to explain. Your attitude shows that your life doesn't revolve around him and that your time is valuable. That sparks respect and even more interest. But it's not just about saying no. You also need to balance it with another subtle strategy that keeps a man intrigued without having to say yes all the time. How to build anticipation. Without becoming predictable, men lose interest when they feel they already know exactly what to expect. When everything is predictable, the relationship becomes monotonous. But when there's an element of surprise, something that keeps them curious, they engage in a completely different way. This isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about understanding that a little unpredictability sparks more interest than always being available and predictable. A woman who reveals everything at once loses her mystery. Instead of sharing your whole life in the first few dates, let him discover things gradually. Answer questions in an engaging way, but don't give everything away. Small details revealed at the right moment create an irresistible effect. It's like a book you can't put down because you're eager to see what happens next. Think about the difference between someone who always does the same things and someone who surprises you from time to time. If you're always available at the same time, always reacting the same way, the connection can fizzle out. But if suddenly you switch things up, accept an unexpected invitation, suggest something different, he realizes that being with you is never just routine. That makes him appreciate every moment with you even more. But creating anticipation isn't enough if you don't know how to maintain your own space and individuality. There's one essential trait that makes men both respect and desire a woman at the same time: the attitude of a woman who doesn't beg for attention. Nothing turns a man off faster than feeling like he's the only source of someone's happiness. When a woman becomes desperate for messages, checks her phone every 5 minutes, or rearranges her entire schedule just to please him, she loses her allure. Men respect and are drawn to women who have their own lives, who aren't always available, and who don't treat their attention as a necessity. Think of someone you admire. That person probably has interests, friends, projects, and an energy that doesn't rely on anyone else. That's the key. When you enjoy yourself, take care of your routine, and feel good in your own company, men notice. And interestingly, the less you chase, the more they feel the urge to come closer. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring him or acting cold. The difference is in your priorities. A confident woman responds to messages when she can, not because she feels she has to keep someone interested. She accepts invitations when she wants to, not because she's afraid of missing an opportunity. This attitude shows that she has value and that anyone in her life needs to recognize it. And there's something even more powerful than just maintaining your independence. A subtle yet incredibly impactful detail that makes a man think of you even when you're not around. How to be remembered. Even when you're not there, have you ever smelled a familiar perfume and immediately thought of someone? Or heard a song that instantly transported you to a specific moment? That happens because certain experiences leave emotional imprints that stay in the subconscious. And when a man associates you with something unique, he will remember you in the most unexpected moments. Small details make all the difference. It could be a memorable phrase you say, a unique way you laugh, or even a gesture that only you do. These little things create a subtle but powerful impact. A man may meet many people throughout his life, but he will always remember the one who made him feel something different. And this memory will surface without him even realizing it. pulling him back to you. A simple example. Instead of just saying goodnight in a text, why not create a unique way to say goodbye? Something that's just yours, that he's never heard from anyone else, or add a special touch when leaving. Hold eye contact a little longer, smile at just the right moment. These small things over time make him realize that no other woman is quite like you. And when a man realizes that your presence lingers even in your absence, something shifts in the way he sees you. Because at that moment, he understands that you weren't just any woman who passed through his life. If you liked these tips and want to learn even more about how to transform your presence and spark genuine interest from men, subscribe to the channel now. Here, I share strategies that truly make a difference. And don't stop here. The next video is already on the screen, full of insights that will surprise you. Click and keep watching.